ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ. Dear devotees, as you all know, we are discussing the Mundaka Upanishad, second chapter and second canto. So, as already I told in the previous class, the second chapter and especially second canto is important and is heart of the Mundaka Upanishad. In the second chapter, first canto, we did try to discuss and understand about the nature of the world, how the world or the universe got emerged or manifested, expressed by the Ishvara, Karana Ishvara, we have discussed. Now, here the Rishi is discussing what is the nature of the self or what is the nature of the Brahman and how there is an essential identity between the individual self and the supreme self. It is called Mahavakya Vichara, that is Jivatma Paramatma Aikya Vichara. Now, when we say that we should realize Brahman, we should experience Brahman, or we should experience Aksharam as based on the Mundaka Upanishad language, okay, what is this Akshara? Where is this Aksharam? Is it available in some of the shops, or is it available in the mart, or is it available in the sea, or is it available in the above worlds? Where is it available? So this question can come for a seeker. And this was answered again. If you remember my previous class, no, fortunately, you will be able to remember that the author and the Rishi gave a few details. It is what is the nature of this self and where can we find this self? If you ask, oh, it is effulgent, and it is effulgent and it is near at hand, means it is so easily accessible. It is near at your step. Just asta malaka we say, amla. Amla means that nallika in Kannada we say, that amlaki, which is in the hand. Just if you are keeping some fruit in your hand, it is so easily accessible for you. At any moment you can put into your mouth or eat. So similarly, this Brahman or the self is in your palms, is at your hand. Anytime you can experience it. Avihi sannihitam, if you remember the previous thing. Then guhacharam nama. And it is residing or moving in the heart. Basically, it is antaryami. Then mahat padam maitat samarpitam means it is the greatest goal. It is the biggest thing. Then yejat pranat nimishat. Yejata means, if you remember the Sanskrit meaning I had given, yejata means which is moving beings, the beings which moves. Pranata means the beings which has got the life, and nimishata means which has got a blinking ones. Like we have got eyelids where we can blink. So similarly, some organisms or beings has got this blinking option, and some may not. So this yejata, pranata, nimishata means all of them has been emerged from this self or from this Brahman or from this Aksharam. Then Sad Asat Varenyam Param. And whatever the visible creation is there, and also existence, and the manifested, unmanifested, and subtle grass, whatever is there, everything has been emerged from that self, Aksharam, and Varenyam. Varenyam is the most desirable ones, the most worthy ones actually. What is the most derived ones? Some say chocolate, some can say clothes, some may say jewelry, some may say power position, some may say achievements, some may say money. So every one of us, we may have got some desires, and among the desires, something is most desirable one we all have got in our list. Now, Upanishadic desire, or the Rishi is saying that experiencing the self, or the self is the most desirable one actually, and that is to be worth, and that is the praiseworthy, or it is a worthy for desirable, and it is worthy of being prayed for all. That is what Varenyam, Param, and it is the supreme ones. Oh, because it needs, everyone needs food, for an example. Everyone needs, so they may desire for it. Here it is not so. Here it is Param, means it is supreme. Vignanat yat varishtam prajanam. So what do you say? Param is an adjective, and Vijanat means from that knowledge, prajanam, of beings. Means it is Paravidya. Aparavidya has been discussed in the first canto. Now we are going to discuss Aparavidya, has been introduced from these 2-3 words, that is Param Vijanat Prajana. Now, after discussing this, the author tells that, okay, let me explain how to fix your mind on this imperishable Brahman. Because by this time, the Rishi is thinking that the listener has got a fair idea about the self or about the Brahman, and is desiring to experience the Brahman. So now let me explain how to fix his mind on that Brahman, or on the Akshara. So in the second and third and fourth, more or less, these things are discussed. It is like a Jnana Yoga Sadhana Pata, the spiritual practice given by Upanishad. For an example, in meditation, devotional meditation, our gurus, they tell how to fix, before sitting meditation, how we should prepare our mind, and what are the steps involved in our meditation technique, and how to fix our mind on the God, how to meditate, what we should do, what we should not do. So there is a systematic spiritual practice during our meditation or devotional practices. So here, this is the Vedantic path of life, or Vedantic sadhana has been told by the Rishi. How to fix one's mind on the Brahman, or on the Aksharam, or on the Atman, or whatever. Now, when we are discussing all these things, we should try to fix our mind on the Brahman. We should try to fix our mind on the Atman or Aksharam. When I am speaking, this is the limitation of the language. Now, we should not think that the Atman or Brahman is like an object. I'm trying to fix my mind on particular an object, for an example, and lotus. Some of them, here, especially in the West, many of them, they don't believe in God, or they don't want to meditate on God. For them, if you give like water, waves, ripples, or a flower, or a mountain, for them it is much more easy for them. Now, when I'm trying to fix my mind on a lotus, or on a mountain, or on the sky, or on the sea, there is an object. So I am trying to fix my mind. Imagine an object. But here, when the author is saying that you are try to fix your mind on the self, try to meditate on yourself, means self is not an object. So please don't objectify the self. Oh, self is like a light. Self is like something very divine. So I am trying to meditate on the self. So we should not objectify the self. So because it is the subject and it is never the object. Now, how to fix the mind on this imperishable Brahman? Let us try to understand. Yadarchitam yad gunebhya anucha yasmin loka nihita lokinascha tadedad aksharam brahma sa pranaha tadu vangmanaha tadetat satyam tad amrutam tad tadheyam somya vidhi. Hey Somya, vidhi. Oh Somya, oh good looking ones, oh good student, know it for certain. So Somya is not only good looking one, is a good student. So Shaunaka is a good student. That's what Angirasa is telling. That which is bright and which is subtler than the subtle, and that on which are fixed all the worlds, as well as the dwellers of the worlds, is this immutable Brahman. It is this vital force. Again, it is speech and mind. This entity that is such, it is true, and it is immortal, and it is to be penetrated or to be understood. Now here, while explaining the sloka, I thought how one can read sloka for themselves and try to understand and can have the deeper meaning of the slokas, of the verses. Let me probably explain by which, if any one of you would like to read either Mundaka Upanishad or any other Upanishads, how one can form the questions and read so that to larger extent you'll be able to understand or you'll be able to enjoy the reading. Now, the author is saying that turning your attention to the consciousness which is in you. So, where to find this imperishable Brahman, if you ask, the author is telling here actually, turn your attention, turn your awareness, turn your conscience towards you, in you, because that changeless, that immutable Brahman, it is in you only. Already we have seen that it is in us. It is in our palms and it is also inside and is an indweller, antaryami. So it is in me. So to experience the Brahman, I need not to go to any pilgrimage. Going pilgrimage is good, no doubt. It has got its own significance. But what I wish to say is, so you need not to go anywhere. Wherever you are there, whatever you may be doing work or anything, but doing all that, one can try to feel and experience the Brahman. Why? Because the Brahman is in me very clearly. And not only that, that is the ultimate truth, or that is the only truth behind the entire phenomena, behind the entire universe, behind me, you, I, and everything existing, everything behind. There's only one truth, ultimate reality. That is what the Brahman. And that Brahman is called here Aksharam or Karana Ishvara. So the locus of Ishvara is everywhere and in everything. So omnipresent. There is no place, there is no place where God is not there. There is no place where immutable Brahman or immortal Brahman is not there. Or there is no place where there is no consciousness. That means that's what many people foolishly ask, oh Swamiji, when we die, where the soul travels? Where does soul travel or self travels? Self can never travel because it is omnipresent. There is no place where there is no self, there is no consciousness. Then what happens after death? Once we die, once we are declared dead, so only the subtle body leaves the physical body. That's all. The self doesn't leave the dead body. So does it mean that dead body consists self? Yes. Then why body is not aware? Because of there is no reflecting medium called subtle body. That's why that physical body is not aware of the self. And now here you can see, in the religious view, God is somewhere in the Vaikunta, Kailasa, and in Swarga. So basically he's in somewhere world because he has got a name and he has got a form. Now in the Vedantic view, the God is all pervasive. There is no place where there is no God or Ishvara or Brahman. So there is no place where he is not there and there is nothing which exists without him. So he is all pervasive, he is all in all, and is the only one thing actually existing. Like gold in the golden ornaments. In the golden ornaments, wherever, whichever side you see, in that golden ornament, what do you see? You see gold and gold alone. The moment you remove the gold, then the golden ornament ceases to exist. So God is in me and God is in this world also. God is inside me, God is outside me, and God is inside the world, God is outside the world, and God is everywhere. Here God means the Brahman. So you have to understand this. Now then, who am I? I am also that eternal principle which is called Brahman or Aksharam. So the Jiva is also Aksharam, but Brahman or the Ishvara is also, what do you say, that same Aksharam. That is what? Tattvamasi, you are that. So that is being told in the this verse. Let us try to understand. So Jivatma and Paramatma, individual self and supreme self are essentially one. Now, let me go to Shloka now. Yad Architam. Architam means Avihi. If you remember the previous Shloka, Avihi. Avihi means what? Effulgent. That's what we have seen in the previous Shloka, previous verse. So Yad Architam, which is effulgent, which is light of consciousness, or which is consciousness, which is awareness. So what is this Brahman? Which is effulgent in nature, which is consciousness or awareness in nature. Yad architam, yad anubhya anucha. It is subtler than the atom. It is subtler than the subtlest. That's what when we translate, we tell that. So it is subtler than the subtlest means generally we are bound to, we are prone to mistake that, okay, it is smaller than the atom. And big Mahato Mahiyan in Kathopanishad, whoever has read. So it is bigger than the biggest. A big probably like universe or maybe Earth or maybe solar planet or something. So it is bigger than the biggest and smaller than the smallest. Or it is smaller than atom and it is bigger than the Earth. Oh, just opposites. I don't think it makes any sense. I think this Rishi has lost his senses because he's telling total, is giving is contradicting himself. Something is smaller than the atom, we can understand. Something is bigger than Earth, we can understand. Both are there, if you say, then definitely it is contradictory. It is illogical. Out of faith, we may keep quiet, but it is out of logic. So I will not accept Upanishad teaching. I will not accept. He may be Rishi, but I will not accept him. This type of understanding, we may get it. Now, why do they use such type of opposite words? They only use such type of paradoxical words to make us understand that in reality, the Brahman cannot be explained in the words. Sri Ramakrishna beautifully, all this, what is a complex idea has been told in a simple way. Brahman is not being tested by the tongue. In Kannada, if you say, Brahma enjilagilla. What does it mean? Means Brahman cannot be explained by our words. So that beautiful, that profound and complex truth has been told through simple example in Sri Ramakrishna. Brahman is not being tested, defiled by the tongue. Means it cannot be explained. It can be only experienced. Then what all these things Upanishads are trying? But still we get a question, we get a doubt. Just to fulfill us, they are trying their best to give the examples. Now here, yad anubhya anucha. The first line, yad architam, which is effulgent in nature, yad anubhya anucha, means it is subtler than the atom. It is subtler than the subtlest. It is smaller than the atom means it is subtler than the atom. What does it mean? Means it is not the object at all. Atom is very tiny particle which can be seen only through microscope. So if it is smaller than the atom, can we devise any microscope so that by which we can see atom? See Atman? No. Why? It is smaller than the atom means what? It is subtler than the atom. That means it is subject. It is never the object. Atom, how much of it is microscopic? How much or maybe 1/100th, 1/1,000,000th of a dot if it may be. But still, today, advancement in technology, microscopes through different instruments we can see. Then can we see the Atman also? No. Why? Because it is never the object, it is the subject. So it is not visible to naked eye and it is not visible to any instruments. Means it is not visible to naked eye means through any sense organs of knowledge. Pancha Jnanendriyas we have got. From any of this organ, you cannot perceive Atman. You cannot experience the Atman from these five any sense organs, including any instruments. So here, subtler than the atom means it is not the it is subject, not the object. You should understand. And yasmin lokaha nihitaha. Okay, it is smaller than the smallest, you are saying that. Then where to find this? And you also saying that you can't say in the naked eye. If you ask, he's saying yasmin lokaha nihitaha. Nihitaha means are fixed. Yasmin, in that. In that means in what? Because that is pronoun. In that means what? In that conscious principle, in that Brahman, in that Aksharam, lokaha nihitaha. All the 14 worlds are fixed. Oh, no, we have got only 3 worlds. Okay, 3 worlds are fixed. Tomorrow you will find one more galaxy or one more world. Then we'll goes to 15 lokas or 20 lokas. If you come with an argument tomorrow, we say, Vedantin say, no problem. 20 maybe, 30 maybe, 200 maybe, 200 million may be there. All the worlds are fixed in this consciousness principle, or in this Brahman, or in this Aksharam. That means what? That means what should we understand that? It is the Adhara. If you remember my previous class, we had discussed about the Adhara. We are all sitting on the chair, suppose. So chair is an Adhara for us. And tomorrow something happens and the place where we are sitting, that gets collapsed, means I may be sitting in the chair. Along with the chair, I will also fall down. For the chair, there is Adhara, the house. For the house, there is an Adhara, earth. For the earth, there is an Adhara, solar system. For the solar system, there is an Adhara, planet. For the planets, for the solar system, the Adhara is galaxy. And for galaxy, there is universe. And for this universe, the Adhara is what? This Brahman or Aksharam. So for the entire world, for the entire creation, for the entire manifestation, the Brahman is what? The Adhara. Means what? The Brahman is the support on which everything has been sustained. Just like gold is the Adhara for the golden ornament, isn't it? So like that. Then cha lokinaha, lokinaha. Lokinaha means one who dwell in the world, the dwellers, living beings, animals, birds, reptiles, amoeba, different type of phylums, bacteria, virus, fungus, and it can be also taken all the sentient and insentient beings who are the indwellers of this world, or the 14 worlds. All of them, for all of them, the support is what? There's only one support. We don't have many supports. There's only one support. That is what? Brahman. Means we are all existing, we are all sustaining on this Brahman. If, for example, when you are hospitalized, you get a problem of breathing, we'll be put on the ventilator, or will be put on the oxygen nebulizer, or what, oxygen mask or whatever. Oh, he's on the support of oxygen, they say. He's on the support of, he has got a ventilator support. Like that, so many supports we speak. Financial support, economical support, so many types of supports we say, but the real support, the original support is what? That is what? Brahman. So on Brahman, we are existing. If there is no Brahman, then we cease to exist. Tad etad aksharam. Tad etad aksharam Brahma. And then how many supports are there? Means there's only one support. And what is that nature? That is aksharam. It is imperishable. Ventilator, there can go problem in a ventilator, and ventilator may stop working and the person may die. And there is no electricity, or there is some problem, then oxygen nebulizer was not working, so patient died. So all that supports have got limitations. Then the supporter called Brahman, what about him then? If you ask, the nature of this Brahman, the supporter Brahman is what? Imperishable, aksharam. Kshara means perishable, akshara is imperishable. Yesterday just I was reading or hearing Channabhaira Devi, one of the great queen from the Karnataka, southern part of Karnataka. She ruled, and Portuguese were chased out from this Channabhaira Devi. And where there was a beautiful palace there, palaces, they say, beautiful palaces, forts, castles, and so many things were there. In history book we read. And today, if you go and see where it is, you only see the remnants. Most of the palaces and the forts, most of the places today, unfortunately, the forest has grown, trees have grown, most has been dilapidated condition. Only we see here and there small remnants. It is called kshara, perishable. So in this world, whatever you see, it may take thousands of years, but they're all perishable. And there's only one thing which is called imperishable, not perishable. That is what? That Brahman. So the nature of Brahman, the nature of awareness, the nature of consciousness is what? Imperishable. So tat etat aksharam Brahma. Now, just I would like to just play a little with a Sanskrit grammar, how beautiful it is and how interesting. Tat etat, both are pronouns. Tat means that is, and etat means this is. That is, this is imperishable Brahman. If you want me to literally translate, tadetad aksharam Brahma means that is, this is imperishable Brahman. You may read and you may feel like funny and you may go away. But what does it mean actually? So that is when we use means which is in very long, at some distance. Oh, you know that person who is living in London? So someone is, when we denote a person or denote a thing which is far off, it can be spatial distance and it can be with our, what do you say, uh, relationships. He may be very near, but from the point of relationship, is not so close. So we say, oh, do you know that person who is there after 3 houses? That lady? Yeah. So it can be based on relationship, it can be based on space and time. We speak that person. So that is tat. And etat, this person. So this means what? Here it which is very near to us. You know this person, this lady came yesterday. Oh, she is my great friend. So when a person is so close, we use such type of usages. So that is, it is very remote and it is very intimately available or intimately near. So tat and etat, tat etat Brahma aksharam. So this imperishable, this is imperishable Brahma. It may be very far for the people who doesn't know things, who doesn't know this Brahman, and for the people who are aware of this Brahman, it is the nearest. It can be very nearest and it can be very farthest. It can go even after galaxies. It may be there, like one may feel. Whom for ignorant, it is very far, and for a knowledgeable person, at least who has understood this by studying Upanishads or attending classes and all, for them, this Brahman is very, very near. That means the Brahman is Aksharam, means it is imperishable. And here by this we can understand that there is only one thing, that is Ekam. This Brahman is imperishable and it is also Ekam. Now, Etat Satyam. Tadetat Satyam. If you see in the fourth line, Tadetat Satyam. Etat Satyam, that alone is the reality. Means what do you mean that alone is reality? Means that has got only independent existence. All of us, we have got dependent existence. We are depending on food, we are depending on clothes, shelter, money, freedom, so many things. For example, you go to some countries like Syria and all, you can't exist easily independently. And today now, Israel and Palestine, you can't live happily as you wish. So our independent existence is very less their problem because of war and whatever. But in some countries, we are happy to live, isn't it? So our existence depends on many things. But here it is not so. So tadetat satyam, that alone is the reality. And the satyatva buddhi is very, very important. The notion of reality is very, very important. For example, when we think something is real, then we fight for it. We try to get it. We try to, we spend our time, we spend our energy, we spend our efforts, everything to get it. Say, for an example, child feels that the toy is very important because it is true and real. To get the toy, she makes a lot of, crying. She feels that as if without a toy, his life or her life is in waste, as in vain. But a grown-up person, when he hear about this, he laughs at it because it's a toy. It is a worth of one pie, that's all. Why this child is so much obsessed with the toy, which is not of that worth? Because the notion of reality. Now, when I grow, for me, gold is very, very important because it is very real. I give a lot of value, so I struggle a lot and I try to get a piece of gold. 10 grams, 20 grams, 50 grams, 100 grams. If you get a gold, you feel as if, and whoever loves that, for them I'm telling, or as if the heaven is on your hand. The heaven is in your hand. Now, for example, for a saint or for a spiritually advanced person, if you go and take, you say, okay, fine. He doesn't really enjoy or he doesn't give any value, or at the most, you may say, okay, it is another form of a earth. Why? Because the gold has come from the earth only. So the earth is it is in another form of earth. That's all. For him, it doesn't have any value. And for us, some power, position has got a lot of value. We struggle for it. And name and fame, money was very important for us. We struggled for it. And when we come to, what you say, frag end of the life, or when we become enough matured or enough aged, we understand that all of them have got some value, no doubt. but we gave unnecessary importance. Because of that, we unnecessarily spent our time, wasted our energy, and now we feel repentance. We repent, but there is no use because time has much got passed over. The notion of reality is very, very important. Even just in myself, I have seen in training center when I was reading Mandukya Upanishad. Mundaka Upanishad seriously, very deeply, every day, 1 or 2, 3 hours. Then after some time, I started feeling whatever I'm doing classes, I attending classes, doing so many things and all, no doubt. But the notion, the basic, the underlying thought was everything was mithya. These are all just appearance. It is like a swapnavat. Even the so-called waking state is like a dream, like the reality is either you can say Shri Ramakrishna or Atman, then just try to fix your mind on that. And why do you waste your time in any other affairs or mundane affairs? So that notion was very strong. So like this, our notion of reality defines our life, defines our character, defines our personality, defines our quality of life also. So tadetat satyam, that alone is reality. We know that. It was there, it is there, it will be there. At all 3 times. Trikala abhadita satya. I think by this time you are familiar with these type of usages, I believe. So that is okay. But the corollary is what? The notion of reality. When God alone is real for you, when Atman alone is real for you, you may be doing your work and mundane responsibilities, but you will not get carried over. You will not get obsessed by that. That's why there's a beautiful, bhajan. Jagadi Santeyul Aliyuva Manuja Nillo Vandukshana. We are so much busy in the hustle bustle of life. We are not thinking what is right, what is not right, what to do and what not to do, how much to do, when to do, why to do, etc. etc. So Tadetat Satyam, that alone is reality. There's nothing else. There's only one reality, nothing else. So what is that? That is what Brahman. Tadetat Aksharam, Tadetat Satyam, Tad Amrutam. It is the nature of immortality. Oh, if I become a millionaire, I can live happily. No, not problem. IT rate can be there and that in tax problem, so many other challenges and all that. I'm not against all these things, but only I'm saying that they have got a lot of limitations. That's all I wish to say. We need money. We have to, earn money because it is a requirement, no doubt. But if you think that's the only true, then you are in wrong notion or even wrong place. That's what I mean to say. All of them are necessity for our mundane life, but the reality is what? That Atmanubhava, experiencing the self or experiencing the God is the real thing and real worthy thing. Third, Amrutam, it is the nature of immortal. So immutable, immortal, nitya, all these things are synonyms, but every word gives a particular angle of the truth actually. Then sa pranaha tadu vangmanaha. From this Brahman, the life force and speech, mind, everything has been emerged. So basically, life force represents energy. All the energy, all different types of energies you can say, and prana also, life breath you can say, everything has been emerged by this Brahman. Then walk mind and manaha. Walk speech, you can say all our actions, and manaha means sense organs, because manas is also a sense organ for Vedantins. So all sense organs and the power of speech and talk or walk or see, eat, actions, you can say all type of actions and instruments and the life force and the energy, everything has been emerged from this Brahman. Brahman is manifesting as everything, or everything has been deduced out from this Brahman. Okay, when we hear all these things, what is the aim of Vedanta? If you ask, the Vedanta is what? To experience the Brahman. Either you can say to experience the Brahman or to remove the ignorance. Why? To attain the immortality. That's what we can see here. Third, Amrutam means it is immortal in nature. So how to attain immortality? Not by becoming a millionaire, not by becoming a president of the India or the Ireland or the USA. No, by knowing oneself, one can be immortal. Then tat vedavyam, that is to be understood or experienced or known. Just you hear, no, not use. You write a thesis or dissertation, it is not just use. You can give a beautiful lecture on Upanishads or on Brahma Vidya, etc. Okay, all fine, but that is not of really use. Then what is that? Tad vedavyam. That should be understood. Understood means what? There should be conviction, and it should be practiced, and it should be experienced. Here, Vedavya means what? It is to be experienced. It has to be reached. It has to be reached means what? It has to be reached. And Somya Vidhi. Hey Vidhi, Somya. Hey good looking one, Vidhi. Please know it. Please know it. Somya means good looking one or a good student. Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Please remember Govinda, ye Muda, ye fooled ones. So, with the know it for certain, a good looking one or good student means what? Don't spend your life, spend your energy for unnecessary things, for foolish things. I mean, concentrate your time, concentrate your efforts, concentrate your life energy to experience that immortal, immutable reality. That is what Aksharam Brahman. So, like this, you can form a questions and line by line you can take. Some words sometimes we have to make some math the following, no doubt. But if you can read like this, then you'll be able to understand the sloka in a better way. Now, how to understand or how to shoot, how to shot, because they told you have to understand. Now, how to understand that has been explained further in the third verse. Let me try to explain. धनुर्गृहीत्वा औपनिषदं महास्त्रं शरं हि उपासनिशितं संधीयता आयम्य तद्भावगतेन चेतसा लक्ष्यं तदेवाक्षरं सौम्य विद्धि continues for some more time. Oh good looking ones, please know. What should I know? Taking hold of the bow, the great weapon, familiar in the Upanishads, one should fix on it an arrow sharpened with meditation. Drawing the string, oh good looking one, hit the very target, that is the imperishable, with the mind absorbed in its thought. Now, basically, spiritual pursuit or our spiritual practice, sadhana, has been explained by taking the allegory or by taking the simile or the example of the bow and arrow. Because in those days, bow and arrows were a common, weapon which was used for hunting animals, for killing enemies, and etc. So they have taken that itself. Now, when you take a bow and arrow, what do? You take a bow and arrow and you put it on the bow, and you, with the help of a string, you stretch it and you shot the arrow to hit the target, maybe to kill an animal, or you are practicing it, you have got some target. So you see that you try to see that the bow or the arrow will go and hit the target. So the bow and arrow example has been taken by the Rishi and is trying to explain how spiritual practice has to be done. Now, what is the target? What is the bow? What is the arrow? What is the string? We have to understand. Otherwise, you will get confused. Now, before going to sloka, just I will tell and let us try to go into sloka. What is the arrow here? Arrow here is the mind sharpened with the meditation. So basically, individual self is the arrow. And what is the bow? Bow here is Upanishad. Upanishadam Vakyam, it says Atma Vichara or Upanishadic knowledge. And the next sloka will come, he will tell very clearly. Just now only I am telling, that is Omkara. So what is the bow here? Bow is a Omkara or the Atma Vichara or the Upanishadic knowledge. And what is the target? Bow and arrow you came to know. What is the target to be reached, to be hit? If you ask, he says that is Aksharam, means immutable Brahman. Then what is the string here? Because we also need string, isn't it? For pull that. So what is the string if you ask here? Withdrawal of mind and senses inwards. Means we have to withdraw ourselves, our body and our mind and sense organs should be withdrawn inside. Then only we can try to experience the self. If not, then I cannot experience the self outside, isn't it? So withdrawal of the mind and the sense organs, yama and niyama and shama and dhamma, we speak in Vedanta and also in the Patanjali Sastanga Yoga. So that yama and niyama are shama and dhamma has been told as a string. And now what is the distance? The distance is ignorance. Now, just I will try to explain distance is also very, very important. Because when you, for an example, when you have taken a bow and arrow and you are hitting the target, there can be distance, 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, or 1 kilometer, or whatever. So there is a distance between the target and the person who has got a bow and arrow and shooting an arrow. Now, the Jivatma, the individual self, he is the, what do you say, arrow, fine. The bow is what? The knowledge, Upanishadic knowledge. Target is what? Aksharam, fine. String is withdrawal of the body and mind, fine. Then what is the distance between them? There can be no distance. There will be no distance. Because physically there can be distance here, because the, or the best we can say, the distance is only ignorance. The more ignorance, the thick ignorance you have got, then the more distance you can say. The ignorance getting reduced, the distance between individual self and supreme self is getting reduced. So it is not spatial and it is not time bound. It is only distance is only ignorance. So it can be 100 meters, 200 meters, 1 kilometer distance. So spatial distance is not here between the target and the person who is shooting an arrow, and time also. After 10 years, I may reach there. After 2 years, it may reach. Or after 10 seconds, the arrow may go and hit the target, etc., etc. Now, for example, when we launch the satellites through rockets and all, we say the scientists say, ISRO says, after a month or after a year or after 6 months, it is, I mean, it is expected to go on reach the particular orbit, particular planet or moon or whatever, isn't it? So like that, there is no time bound also here. And only the distance is what? Only ignorance. A simple example I can give you is key in the pocket. I've kept a key in my pocket and I've forgotten. I am trying to search the key in my entire house, which happens for many of us. And we search in the whole of our room. We searched, we called office. Probably we might have gone to office and we try to see there also. Everywhere happened. And suddenly someone ask, or myself, somehow I come to know that the key was in my pocket only, but unfortunately for some time, and I searched the key for key everywhere. So similarly, the Atman is not somewhere, Brahman is not somewhere, it is in me only, but I have forgotten and I am searching the entire world in every place and in everything, that whether the Brahman is here, Brahman is here, Brahman is here. Yeah. Danu gruhitva Upanishadam Mahastram. Danuhu, bo, gruhitva, taking up, Upanishadam, Upanishadic knowledge, scriptural knowledge, or Atma Vichara, the knowledge of Atman, Mahastram, the great weapon. So what is the great weapon here? The great weapon is what? Our Upanishadam, I mean, Gnanam. The knowledge which has been discussed in the Upanishads is what? The great weapon. Then bow, what is the bow? As I already told, the bow is what? Upanishadic Vakyam. So the bow is Upanishadic Vakyam, that is the scriptural knowledge or Vedantic knowledge, and which is Omkara, which we see in the next verse, and that is a great weapon, it seems. And we should take it. Means you should study Upanishads. Maybe on the lighter side, you should try to attend my Mundaka Upanishad classes regularly. Then Sandhiyata. Okay, you read and you took the bow. What you should do? Keeping in the hand. No. Sandhiyata means one should fix. Means you should fix a bow to hit the target. So similarly, after studying Upanishads, you should try to practice. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. I have understood now. I should start putting into practice in my life, in my every action, in my every conduct. Sharam, arrow. So what kind of arrow here? Upasanishitam. So Dhanur Gruhitva Upanishadam Mahastram. First line over. Now second line we have started. Sharam. Sharam, what kind of arrow? Upasanishitam means the arrow should be sharpened or purified by the constant meditation. Vedantic meditation, devotional meditation you can take. So by that what happens? By that your mind gets concentrated. Oh Swamiji, you gave a beautiful talk. Fine, thank you. What did you understand? Oh Swamiji, please don't ask all that. We should not tell. Why? Because our mind was not here. I came here with all interest, no doubt. We got punyam, so we attend the class, no doubt. But mind was not concentrated enough, so I couldn't understand all the points. I didn't make notes. I didn't make homework before coming. So as a result, I couldn't connect the classes. Something I understood, no doubt. Something is better than nothing, but I cannot tell. Many times it happens. So here there should be readiness for that. We should make ready, isn't it? So Upasanishitam means one whose mind is has got a good amount of purity of mind, whose mind is enough concentration is there. One who has got enough understanding, enough concentration, enough purity of mind, he will be able to understand the Upanishads teachings in a better way. So we should prepare ourselves, I mean to say. Why? Because see, in a rituals, for an example, Satyanarayana Puja you want to do. By doing Satyanarayana Puja, you want to get some punya, or there's some problem in the house. That problem can be probably handled or rectified by saying Satyanarayana Puja. You will arrange for Satyanarayana Puja, you call priest, so you will be sitting and your priest may be doing it. And priest will be chanting all mantras, and afterwards he says, oh, you tell mama, means I, myself, means whatever all the mantras I told, whatever all things I did, everything will be is done by you like that, feeling that you tell mama. He will tell mama. So finally, because you are a Yajamana and you are Yajamani, so you paid for that and you arranged everything and the Sankalpa was taken in your name. So either priest or someone else did a Satyanarayana Puja, but still most of the punya, the major portion of the punya is attained by you. You will get major portion of the punya. That's what we see in the rituals, in the external worships, in all the physical works. But in this knowledge work, in this mental work, it is not so. Swamiji, can you study Upanishads for our sake and we can pay for you sometime? Okay, I may get money, no doubt, but I study Mundaka Upanishad or Mandukya Upanishad or Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Okay, I got knowledge, but you don't get that knowledge. So just like external actions, someone can do on your behalf and you can get the results. Like this Vedantic life, spiritual sadhana is not possible like that. If you want mukti, if you want to go to Swarga, if you want to get a Chitta Shuddhi, if you want to realize Brahman, you have to struggle on your behalf. Someone cannot do that. So that's why Upasanishitam, your mind should be sharpened or purified by constant meditation. The more and more the arrow is clean, straight, and it is much probably not too heavy or not too light. If there's a proper way of however the arrow should be there, if like that, if it is there, then it can go and hit the target easily, isn't it? For example, there was some bend in the arrow. I may be a best archer, even if I shoot it properly, because of the bend in the arrow, it may not go and hit the target. I may got a good teacher, the best teacher in the world, but my mind was not ready. That's the reason I couldn't understand the Upanishads. I couldn't put into practice. So one has to practice himself in a spiritual life. So we have to prepare ourselves. So this also can be said, terms and conditions apply. One who can understand, one who can realize, one whose mind is withdrawn, one who is more introvert, and whose mind is purified by meditation, by selfless action, and by upasana, and etc. Sandhiyata. Sharam hi upasanishitam sandhiyata. Sandhiyata means you should take up. Then ayamya. Ayamya means having drawn. Having drawn means convert an extrovert mind into introvert mind. Generally, our nature is what? It keeps on going outside, isn't it? But we should get into introvert. We should try to intram. I mean, okay, you spend your time with people and your work and all these things. Whatever is required, you do it. But most of the time, you should try to spend your time in contemplation and try to be introvert. Ayamya. Then sandhiyata means fix. I learned. Tad bhavagamena chetasa. Tad bhava, tad bhavagatena chetasa. Tad bhavagatena chetasa is also very, very important. Chetasa means what? Mind. Tad bhavagatena. Tad bhavagatena means the mind absorbed in that bhava. Atma bhava. Bhagavad bhava. I am that Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. So Brahma bhava. I'm not experienced, but thinking time and again, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. That Brahma Bhava, the thought of Brahman, I am Brahman, your mind should be soaked in that. Or Atma Bhava, okay. Or if you feel more in devotional temperament, so your Ishta Devata, your mind should be constantly, as much as possible, you should be soaked in that Ishta Devata. So whatever the target you want to achieve, so based on that, your mind should be soaked in that particular idea. Tad bhavagatena chetasa. Then what happens? Lakshyam. You should have a fix your goal. So what is that lakshya or goal? It is what? Atmagnana, Brahmagnana, tad eva aksharam. And that worthy goal to be attained is what? Brahma, the experience of the Brahman, that is eva aksharam. That is nothing else. That is only aksharam, immutable. And how to shoot the arrow? So you have to control your mind, you have to control your sense organs, and you have to be introvert as much as possible, and your mind should be soaked in that particular thought. That's what we say from the Vedanta. Shravana Manidhyasana, when you do, what happens? Your mind constantly soaks in Atma Vidya. Then what happens? Brahmakara Vritti is produced. So Brahmakara Vritti removes, destroys the ignorance. Then you will get a Mukta Purusha, you will get a Brahmagnana or whatever. You will not get it actually. Only the ignorance is removed. You don't get any new thing according to the Advaita Vedanta and Upanishads. So you should fix your goal. What is that? Aksharam, attaining Aksharam. Here, attaining Aksharam means what? Again, experiencing Aksharam or Vidhi or knowing Aksharam. Again, knowing means what? Again, experiencing. Now, what is that exactly the bow which we discussed, that mind shaped with meditation? We discussed that uncontrolled mind, etc. We spoke, and regarding that Omkara or Pranava, how Pranava is bow and how Pranava is arrow, and Pranava can be Lakshya. Everything is discussed in the fourth verse. Let us try to understand in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.